Today we're learning about business letters. Particularly, we're going to learn about the first four parts of the business letter today. The standards we're going to be working with is to create and format business letters. The objective is by the end of this lesson, you should be able to type and format the return address, date, inside address, and salutation of a business letter. The first thing you need to know how to do is how to set margins, because the margins for a business letter are different from a resume. A margin on a business letter should have a top margin of 2 inches, and the sides and the bottom should only be about 1 inch. Watch, this is how we do that. Here is Word, and it's already got a sample letter in it that we're going to format. Notice that right now these blue areas mark themselves at about 1 inch. Where the line is, that's what's considered 0. So this way it's only 1 inch, and that way, of course, it's going to go all the way down to the bottom, and you're going to have an inch at the bottom as well. The way you set your margins is you make sure that you are on the page layout tab. You go to margins, you click the downward arrow, you go all the way to the bottom of the drop down menu, and you select on margins. Custom margins. You make sure your top margin is 2 inches by simply typing a 2. Hit tab, that's a 1, that's a 1, and that's 1. So all your margins are now set correctly. You're going to click on OK. And watch what happens to the letter when you click on OK. Notice how your margin has slid down, and now you have a nice 2-inch margin at the top. The other thing you want to make sure of, Word likes to, 2007, likes to have the default set of your spacing after your paragraphs is 10 points. Well, they consider after a paragraph anytime you hit enter. So you want to make sure that after is actually a 0 point. You want to go to the Home tab and make sure your line spacing is not 1.15 but 1.0, which is one single space. If you don't do all of that, then your business letter is going to end up looking kind of silly. Alright. Next, we need to take a look at our return address. When we're talking about the return address, we're talking about the street address, the city, state, and zip. You can also include your phone number and your email address. However, that information is optional. Your return address is your address, or the address of the person who is writing the letter. So here's our sample letter again. Every time you see a line like this, that tells you it's the end of a line. So we're going to take that line out because it's not necessary. And then we're going to go ahead and break out our return address. So this is our return address up here. On this address, I did not make the decision to include my phone number and address, or phone number and email address, because that was unnecessary. Our formatting for the return address, just to kind of recap, is it's aligned to the left margin and is a single space to the date. The date is the next thing we're going to talk about. When you type the date, your date should have the month completely written out. You should never abbreviate the month. Also, when you get done typing the month, you're going to hit 4 enters to get down to the inside address. So here's our sample letter again. There is our date with the month spelled out. We want to put 4 enters between the date and the inside address. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, and this is the 4th one right there. The inside address is the address of the letter, or of the person the letter is going to. That should be left aligned and double spaced to the salutation. So here is our inside address. Again, these lines right here indicate that that's the end of the line. So we're going to highlight that little space right there and get rid of it. Alright, so we're sending it to Jenna St. John, who is the Personnel Director of Regency Insurance Company. And there is the street address. And apparently that company is in Houston, Texas. And then we need a double space to get down to the salutation. So that would be 2 enters. There's 1, and then there's our second enter there, which has already been keyed. The salutation is how you greet the person you're writing to. It should always be formal, and it should always be followed by a colon. Alright. There should be a double space between the salutation and the body. So here in our sample letter again, we're just going to hit 1 enter, and this is the first 4 parts of our resume that has been formatted. Please remember there should be 3 lines here, because that's a quad space. So here's 1 enter, 2, 3, 4 enters there. And then there should be a double space between the inside address and the salutation. So that is our instruction on the first four parts of a business letter. Good luck with your assignment.